Des Moines Mayor Bill de Blasio took the stage here on Tuesday evening, more than 1,000 miles from the city he governs, to outline his vision to revive a Democratic Party that he described as lost in recent years but on the precipice of a great comeback. "We are at the beginning of a progressive era," he predicted in a 35-minute speech before more than 150 liberal activists. Mr. De Blasio was the headline speaker at the annual holiday party of Progress Iowa, a group that, like the mayor, hopes to pull Democratic politics to the left. In a dark suit and red tie, Mr. de Blasio hailed attendees as an army of good. "We are not the party of elites," he said. "We are not the party of big donors. We are the party of working people." Mr. de Blasio has repeatedly dismissed holding any presidential ambitions, yet he scheduled his first stop after his November re-election in the state that kicks off the 2020 sweepstakes. "I've said it 400 times, I'm not one of those candidates," he said in an interview earlier on Tuesday. Past speakers at the group's gatherings have included Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Wendy Davis, a former state senator of Texas, and Jason Kander, a former Secretary of State in Missouri who lost a bid for the United States Senate. Even if not as a presidential candidate himself, Mr. de Blasio made clear this was only his first stop of an itinerary to sell his New York record and progressive outlook as a model for Democrats across the country. He will officially be sworn in for his second term in January. "This is what I feel called to do, and I'm going to do this kind of thing wherever possible, whenever possible," he told reporters, pledging to help win back the House of Representatives, including 2 swing seats in Iowa. Mr. De Blasio also made clear his disdain for questions about whether he can govern America's largest city while pursuing such a national political agenda. "I can walk and chew gum at the same time," he said at one point. Then, after taking 15 minutes of questions at a downtown Marriott, he pulled out a package of Eclipse gum with self-satisfaction and a mischievous grin. "Now watch this," he said. "It's going to be amazing. I am walking while chewing the gum." He stood up, he waved, he left. A few blocks away, while entering the Progress Iowa party, John Flynn, a New York City police officer who flew to Des Moines as part of a union protest, greeted him with a shout, "Worry about your city, Mr. Mayor." The Patrolmen's Benevolent Association had flown out Mr. Flynn and roughly a dozen others to distribute leaflets to attendees and to question Mr. de Blasio's pro-union credentials. A second labor group, the Transport Workers Union, bought a full-page ad in the Des Moines Register attacking his progressive credentials. "Phony Bill is no Bernie Sanders," the ad said. Inside the ballroom, Mr. de Blasio worked the Progress Iowa crowd, both before and after his speech, with handshakes and small talk. On stage, he sketched what sounded like the outlines of a stump speech, all the way down to the fact that his grandmother was born in Iowa in 1888. "She was born to a father who loved his farm," he said. The mayor touted his recent re-election, the first in New York City for a Democrat since the 1980s, he was sure to note, his addition of a year of pre-kindergarten, the expansion of the city's mental health services, and what he called the improvement of the relationship between the police and minorities. Even before he spoke, attendees at the holiday party were less convinced he lacked national ambitions. Cindy Swanson, a Democrat from Des Moines, said she had also seen the mayor on one of his past trips. "He came in 2015 and 2016 in a failed effort to influence the national debate. Anyone that comes to Iowa this many times, this early is testing the waters," she said.